Thank you very much. Here in Mindanao, here in northern Mindanao. Thank you. Wonderful. It's my first time to join you on a very, very big, very important platform. And I'm very grateful. Diversity in politics is something dear to me, having grown in a multicultural environment. And definitely, this topic of internationalism, diversity, and unity is something that is very close to me. I'll be speaking in Taglish dahil sa I grew up in Saudi, so ang comfort zone ko ay English, but at the same time dahil minsan ay nakakatagalog tayo dahil sa ating reach, we want to reach the masses through this platform. So diversity in politics, very important po that we're talking. I'm a woman here. I'm a Muslim and I'm talking about power. Can you imagine the different layers of identity? And giving me this topic is something of privilege. Thank you to the organizers. And this world that we are living in is definitely, it has to acknowledge this kind of development where we are all facing differences. We are all facing the kinds of difference that I even saw growing up, no? Different kinds of persons, different kinds of colors, races, and creeds gives to mind that it is already a world of change and color and diversity. Hindi na po pwedeng we live in our own bubble. Next, please. So that in one of our history lessons, especially in international studies, one of the schools of thought is realism, a realist thought, wherein we are taught that there are different countries, there are different nations, and each country has its own interest. I am in an island here in Mindanao, and it has its own borders. It has its own protocols. We are in a society of different borders, protocols, even cross-bordering, may mga treaties and agreements. So the country, the nation, there's a difference, no? There's a country, the nationhood naman is identity, which we identify with. These are things that will continue to be governing us, no? We are either Filipino or French or African, but it is also a reality that we are going to have to agree on certain things. We are going to come together on children's conventions. We are going to come together on fighting fake news. We are going to come together on different topics. So definitely the nation will continue to be there existing, but then there are also common good things that we have to agree in. We have to come together where, especially, for example, in the European Union, they have issues that they have to agree with. In ASEAN, they come together on border concerns or concerns on migration. These are things that will come together, bring nations together, because they are going to have to face certain realities. Next, please. It is so vital that in our growth, no, as a world, and we are growing, no, kasi every century, every evolution, every generation has its evolution. And we are going to see that the differences will be less and less pronounced in a blink of an eye. You can be able to get information. We might be different and living in different places, but I might be sharing a common interest in poetry with a person in Austronesia or somewhere in the Icelandic nations. So this comes to light when, as a growing up girl in Saudi Arabia, I had friends from the black countries, from the different countries of the world, and yet we shared the love for football. In a click, we are able to come together right now on the internet and share, chat. In an instant, an idea is uploaded, a common or an advertisement comes to fore, or a video, and we all get to click it. We all get to watch it. And so it is a wonderful moment in time, whereas in centuries before, they had to walk long hours to get to information centers, to get to to places. You're going to have to go to the souks or markets and know what's the news of the day. Now you're sitting here, I'm sitting here in an island in Mindanao, and I'm able to communicate to 100 of us. Ain't it so wonderful? Ain't it a miracle that we can come together and a click of an eye, no slow motion. I hope hindi nagsa slow mo tayo na oh, actual actual communications, actual words that are coming out of me, um, show a testament that we indeed are closing in and bridging the borders and crossing borders. Whereas in the past, it would take years or days or weeks to find a letter, find a communication, and find the message to be sent across borders. Next, please. And so it's a reality. Fukuyama said the nations will be dividing or will be the central pole of identification, but we're already coming into terms that this world can be united on the issue of certain causes, on the issue of climate change. I mean, we are different, located in different locations, and yet we can come together. It is just so humbling to see that the quarantine has made the world, I think, closer. Yes, because we have time to look at messaging and videos and message all these written materials online. I mean, the quarantine gave us some solace, maybe some time to introspect and to value the messages that are given on our on our online. So we might be different in all ways. We might be different in creed, in the what we were socialized to believe in, but then there are things that we already have to acknowledge. And for one, the COVID quarantining affected billions of us in the world, and we have had to give up many of our liberties together as a humanity. And so this is a prime moment for us to acknowledge that diversity might have been dividing us for time, for centuries. We might have fought wars in the past, but now it is a common reality that beyond our control is something like quarantine and COVID that we have to be forced to unite and combat it as one, as a humanity. Next, please. In our country, a place of archipelago of islands, our digital divide, the realities of not being able to come together is very real. Geography, culture, hundreds of ethno-linguistic groups. I am a Maranao. I speak a unique language. My father and my mother speak a different language from the 100 diverse cultural communities of this country. And yet, our Philippine Constitution says that we are equal. Our democracy grants us one, every person one vote. Every person is equal, any other Filipino. So our communities in the southern Philippines has as much at stake in what happens in our country's democratic future. So our Philippines might be, centralized in a capital in Manila, but we, this archipelago, is united and form a bond by a Philippine constitution that binds us, our common identity, the Filipino identity, an identified language called Filipino, despite that we come from different backgrounds. Next, please. And of course, because we've been socialized into different backgrounds, we might have in this discourses, in this narrative, it's in these narratives, in this evolution, in every province, in every family, there might come a time where we have to adopt our own ideologies. And sometimes this is what's fearful when we have to contend with different kinds of ideologies. And it's a reality that the political parties, for instance, are different. Even within a family, there are different ways of interpretation, even the challenge of the Muslim world. There are different ways of interpreting an idea, and that gives to certain challenges and tensions in the world. Since world wars have happened, there is a continuing tension of differences in perspectives, even if we have come together in the United Nations, we have come together in common platforms, there is still a continuing source of difference in difference that can breed into certain things that we'd like to avoid, of course, violence as a reality even of the times. Next, please. And even if we've had the outpouring of certain of emotions coming from different conflicts that have uh, you know have come throughout time because of diversity concerns, identity conflicts. The major conflict that came with nations being created is really that there are communities that are different from the common or majority state, and therefore they are the ones that had conflicts from within their societies. There is that continuing aspiration that we will dream a peace world, a world of peace in this diversity situation. And that is what is the value of this forum, Miriam. We are coming together because we are acknowledging the differences that have come out through time. We are countries, we are nations, we are cultures, we are peoples, and we are even intersecting. A woman, a mother, a Filipina can be sharing issues with mothers of America. But then we are also diverse. Unity in diversity is indeed the phenomenon of the times. And grateful for this platform for a woman who has come from a different situation to be able to push for a common ideology, a common platform, a common phenomenon called peace. Thank you very much and mabuhay po.